Good afternoon, fellow Biafrans. This is the 11th day of November 2024, and I am here again to respond to a question by somebody who just asked me, Prime Minister, what do we do to sustain the peace and security we've brought to Biafra land? And I told him, and I said, I am going to make this video to respond because I know many people are going to be asking the same question. So here is my response. The only way to sustain the peace that we have brought to Biafra territory and to the Biafra people is to make sure that Nigeria never breed within our territory. The Nigeria terrorist army, Nigeria terrorist state police, and every arm carrying person under Nigeria within Biafra territory must not be allowed to breed, because they are the main cause of insecurity. They are the terrorists that have been terrorizing people, facilitating the attack against indigenous people, and shielding these ragtag terrorists when they come to kill. So we are not going to allow them to breed in Biafra territory until Biafra become an independent state, recognized under international community and the United Nations. I want you to take a look at where Nigeria is breeding, how the security situation are in those places. Take a look in Yoruba land. Nigeria is breeding in Yoruba land. 29,000 people have been reportedly killed by the Fulani terrorists. Look at the northeast, northwest, where Nigeria is breeding. There are many terrorist groups springing up on daily basis. Innocent women and children are being neutralized every day. Take a look in the middle belt where Nigeria is breeding. There are people who have given birth to their children inside IDP camp, and many of those children are today 19 years of age. What does that tell you? It means that people have actually left and fled their ancestral land and have been living in IDP camp for more than 19 years. And without any plan for them to reclaim their land. Their land is now being occupied by strangers. Who are those strangers? The fighters that were actually killing the people and chasing them out of their own land. Nigeria is breeding in the Middle Belt. And that's the reason why we decided that the solution to sustain this security in our land is to make sure that Nigeria never breed. And that's what Simon Ekpa is leading. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, has sent a serious warning to the Nigerian armed forces, comprising of the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Police, and other Nigerian security personnel under the Nigerian military within Biafra territory to remove themselves and leave Biafra land with immediate effect. Otherwise, they will never breed within Biafra territory. Simon Ekpa is a man standing up as a leader for a people, sending a message so fierce and clear that it echoes far beyond his land. That is exactly what Simon Ekpa did. He has been at the forefront of a movement for Biafra independence. He is the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile. Simon Ekpa made a public speech on his verified X account. He delivered a bold and direct warning to the Nigerian military stationed in what he considers Biafra land. Now, Simon Ekpa didn't just ask them to leave politely. He said something that grabbed a lot of attention. Any person under Nigeria military within Biafra territory will never breed within our territory. That is a powerful statement. It is a serious and potentially dangerous threat. But to understand what led him to make such a statement, we need to look a bit deeper into the history. the reasons for Biafra's independence struggle and the man behind these words. Now, let me take you back in time a bit. Biafra isn't a new idea. It is a region and a people with a long history of wanting independence from Nigeria. You may have heard of the Biafran War or the Nigerian Civil War, which happened from 1967 to 1970. Back then, the southeastern part of Nigeria, known as Biafra, declared itself independent. The people there, mostly from the Igbo ethnic group, felt marginalized, unfairly treated, and excluded from power. There was a belief that they were being oppressed and they wanted their own space to live freely and in peace. But that war was devastating. It lasted for 3 years and a lot of lives were lost. Millions of civilians died, many from starvation, because food and resources were cut off from Biafra. It was a tragedy that left a deep wound in the hearts of the people in the southeastern region. Since then, the idea of an independent Biafra has never really gone away. For some, it is a dream of freedom and safety. For others, it is a way to stand up against what they see as oppression. Fast forward to today, and there are still people who believes that Biafra should be its own nation. Simon Ekpa is one of those people. He has taken on the leadership role of the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, and he is a strong believer that the only way for Biafran people to find peace is to separate entirely from Nigeria. So what exactly did Simon Ekpa say in his message? Simon Ekpa released a viral video on his verified X page where he spoke directly to the people of Biafra and indirectly to the Nigerian government and its military. He explained that people had been asking him how they could keep the peace and security that he believes Biafra has achieved under his leadership. Simon Ekpa's response was blunt. To keep Biafra peaceful, Nigerian forces need to be completely out of Biafran territory. He said, "The only way to sustain the peace that we have brought to Biafra territory and to the Biafran people is to make sure that Nigeria never breathes within our territory." He called the Nigerian army and police terrorists, claiming they are the ones causing instability and insecurity in Biafra land. Now, this is a big accusation. Simon Ekpa believes that the Nigerian military isn't there to protect the people. He sees them as part of the problem. He argues that they shelter and enable smaller terrorist groups that carry out attacks on ordinary Biafran people. So his warning was simple but fierce. Either the Nigerian military leaves or they will never breathe within Biafra's borders. This message didn't go out of nowhere. For years, people in Biafra have complained of heavy-handed treatment by Nigerian security forces. There are stories of soldiers and police clashing with civilians, of crackdowns and violence. Many Biafrans feel that instead of protecting them, the military treat them like enemies. This has only fueled the desire for separation. Simon Ekpa also pointed out other areas in Nigeria where he thinks the government has failed to bring peace and security. He mentioned the Yoruba lands in the southwest, where he said about 29,000 people have reportedly been killed by what he calls Fulani terrorists. In the northern region, the northeast and northwest, he claims that terrorist groups are spreading and causing daily violence. Simon Ekpa painted a grim picture of the Middle Belt region too. This area has seen clashes between farmers and herders for years. In some places, people have been forced to leave their homes and live in camps for displaced people, known as IDP camps. According to Simon Ekpa, some children were born in these camps and have grown up there without ever seeing their ancestral homes. For nearly 20 years, these families have been unable to return because, as Simon Ekpa says, their land is now being occupied by strangers. The strangers he's talking about are, in his view, the same people who drove them out in the first place. When you think about it, this is a sad and unsettling reality. People who once had homes, communities, and a way of life now live in camps, completely uprooted. Simon Ekpa used these examples to emphasize his belief that Nigeria has failed its people and cannot bring peace to Biafra either. For him, keeping Nigeria out of Biafra is the only solution. Simon Ekpa is clear about what he wants: an independent Biafra, recognized by the international community and the United Nations as a sovereign nation. This idea isn't new. In fact, one of the most well-known Biafran leaders, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has been pushing for the same goal for years. Nnamdi Kanu is currently facing legal troubles and has been detained by the Nigerian government, so Simon Ekpa has taken up the mantle in his absence. But Simon Ekpa's approach is different to that of Nnamdi Kanu. While Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was also outspoken, Simon Ekpa's tone and tactics seem even more confrontational. He's not just calling for separation, he's saying that any Nigerian influence in Biafra is unacceptable and must be removed entirely. He's calling for what he sees as a total break with no room for compromise. In his speech, Simon Ekpa said, "The solution to sustain the security in our land is to make sure that Nigeria never breathes." This isn't just about removing soldiers or police, it is about creating a complete separation where Biafra is free from any form of Nigerian control or influence. Now, let's talk about what this warning means. For one, it is clear that Simon Ekpa's words could lead to more tension between the Biafran people and the Nigerian government. The Nigerian government has always been firm about keeping Nigeria whole. They don't see Biafra as a separate nation but as a part of Nigeria, just like any other region. So for someone like Simon Ekpa to make such a bold statement is essentially challenging the entire structure of the Nigerian state. It is also likely that Simon Ekpa's words will not go unnoticed by the Nigerian military. If they interpret his message as a threat, they could respond with force, leading to more clashes, and this could be exactly what Simon Ekpa is expecting. He might see any strong reactions from the Nigerian military as proof that they don't respect the people of Biafra, which could in turn gain him more support. At the same time, Simon Ekpa supporters are fired up by his words. They see him as a strong leader who is standing up for their rights and their future. Many Biafrans feel ignored or mistreated by the Nigerian government, so Simon Ekpa's message resonates with them. For them, he's not just speaking words, he's giving them hope for a Biafra where they can live in peace and in dignity. Simon Ekpa also has his eyes on the international community. He believes that eventually the world will recognize Biafra as an independent nation, but getting international recognition is a complex process. For one, countries around the world tend to be cautious about supporting independent movements, especially in cases where the parent country, like Nigeria in this case, strongly opposes the idea. Recognition by the United Nations is even more challenging and usually requires support from major world powers. However, Simon Ekpa seems hope that if the situation in Biafra continues to gain attention, international organizations and foreign governments might start to take notice. He is aware that global sympathy and support could play a crucial role in achieving his goal.
Good afternoon, fellow Biafrans. This is the 11th day of November 2024, and I am here again to respond to a question by somebody who just asked me, Prime Minister, what do we do to sustain the peace and security we've brought to Biafra land? And I told him, and I said, I am going to make this video to respond because I know many people are going to be asking the same question. So here is my response. The only way to sustain the peace that we have brought to Biafra territory and to the Biafra people is to make sure that Nigeria never breed within our territory. The Nigeria terrorist army, Nigeria terrorist state police, and every arm-carrying person under Nigeria within Biafra territory must not be allowed to breed, because they are the main cause of insecurity. They are the terrorists that have been terrorizing people, facilitating the attack against indigenous people, and shielding these ragtag terrorists when they come to kill. So we are not going to allow them to breed in Biafra territory until Biafra become an independent state, recognized under international community and the United Nations. I want you to take a look at where Nigeria is breeding, how the security situation are in those places. Take a look in Yoruba land. Nigeria is breeding in Yoruba land. 29,000 people have been reportedly killed by the Fulani terrorists. Look at the northeast, northwest, where Nigeria is breeding. There are many terrorist groups springing up on daily basis. Innocent women and children are being neutralized every day. Take a look in the Middle Belt, where Nigeria is breeding. There are people who have given birth to their children inside IDP camp, and many of those children are today 19 years of age. What does that tell you? It means that people have actually left and fled their ancestral land and have been living in IDP camp for more than 19 years. And without any plan for them to reclaim their land is now being occupied by strangers. Who are those strangers? The fighters that were actually killing the people and chasing them out of their own land. Nigeria is breeding in the Middle Belt. And that's the reason why we decided that the solution to sustain the security in our land is to make sure that Nigeria never breed. And that's what Simon Ekpa is leading. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
It gives the impression that the military have only gone there to swallow the people. You are in an amphitheater with a python. You end up being swallowed by the python. So, in the north, there is Operation Lafia Dole. What is Lafia Dole? That peace must reign. Why wouldn't they adopt similar code name in the southeast? Why don't you adopt Operation Udokamma? Why don't you adopt Operation Njikoka? Why don't you adopt Operation Anibuofu? Meaning peace is supreme, unity is strength. We are one. These are all names you can use. Why use that name, Operation Python Dance? You have already destroyed the psyche of the people. The same people you have gone there to protect, because you said, according to elementary, that they have gone there because of the security challenges in the southeast. So you have gone there to protect the people of the southeast, and you have massively destroyed their mentality. So why adopt that name? In the territory of northeast, where there is massive terrorism, you adopted a benign name like Lafia Dole. In the southeast, where there is no such challenge, you adopt such a wide name like Python Dance. The people are terrorized.
Okay.
Now, the third mistake that the military has made, and which is the most terrible one, is codenaming and calling IPOB a terrorist organization. by all intents and purposes, it cannot stand. And that is why every well-meaning Nigerian, every well-meaning observer of Nigeria, the whole international community is shouting and saying, this is wrong. This is wrong. Anybody who does not see it as being wrong is only trying to flow with the tide. Government has created a field and filled that field with landmines, and then expect players to go and play in that field. That cannot stand. So why branding IPOB a terrorist organization? And
in the southeast, the military contends with similar threats from separatist rebels, indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. From his base in Finland, the self-acclaimed leader of the group, Simon Ekpa, has continued to seize portions of the airwaves to destabilize the country. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, wonders why Nigeria should continue to surrender its airwaves to Simon Ekpa.
I always want to bring up this issue of Simon Ekpa. I still don't know why we're not doing anything much about him. We can't allow him get the airspace against us. The country Finland is offering, is giving him refuge. They shouldn't do that for whatever reason. And we have diplomatic means of going through those things. So I think Ministry of Information can do so much.
You can see how hot this food is now. Can any fly try and perch on this food? Now the dead body you go see. So don't even try going closer to Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa is like this food. You fly cannot perch on him. He's more than a conqueror. Don't try perching on him, Simon Ekpa, because if you try it, the end will justify the means. Walking now, can't you see? Walking now, Ogata Gidi, walking. The Simon Peter of our own time, the good guy himself, our PM. I salute you. Walking up, in a better, walking the Boje Mono. Hell.
As Trump win, cry full everywhere. As they declare Trump winner. As soon as for Nigeria begin the mourn. Now Republican win, now APC the mourn. Collabo. be like Democrat and Republican featuring the APC for that. Why did the month Trump win it? I be anything where did they ask from us? Is there something you guys want to tell us that you're not telling? You don't read I know some people, some Nigerians that in Americans will be very disappointed and say, some no want Trump. Some no want Trump, but I can tell you, majority of Nigerians want me Trump at that day. Some people with the America, they talk say Trump na racist. But they can't forget say the person now waiting for office for Nigeria campaign based on tribe. Emiloko. So I don't see as they be. But I don't see as this election take go now. You see as the election take go. Now to show you, say these Westerners, they get sense. They use Africa. They get sense. As Joe Biden begin the gaff, now Joe Biden is supposed to run for this office again. As he begin the gaff, they notice, Democrats, they notice, say, man, this man cannot carry us. This man is not the vision of America. They had to drop him. Put Kamala Harris.
person wey at least go represent well, at least if you dey talk, you go hear wetin dey talk. But for Nigeria, see wetin Nigeria, the person dey go all the places, they shout bala blue. Person dey shout bala blue. The same Joe Biden wey dey America, wey dey gaff. Now him come dey tell us say the bala blue good for us. You come talk say God wey dey for heaven no go visit us. Come room where I see now. Trump dey there. By next year, I go see wall of Jericho. You can't wall where they at the head. You know that wall of Baba. No, no go climb and finish. Wall. I go see anything. I never see anything. God just design them. God design them for us. You wanna go there on our own, we go there on our own.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.